Hi, and welcome to the demo for Embroidery 101. So we're going to get started with auto digitizing, and for today I'll be using the Hatch program, specifically Hatch 2. So we're going to go ahead and start on the left side of the menu here, where pretty much all of our options will be for this. What I'm highlighting right now is my machine that I will be using, and you can change that as well as with each machine its set of hoops. So we're going to start by inserting our artwork. You can bring in any type of artwork you'd like. For this one, I'll be bringing in a plain silhouette for a project I'm currently working on. We're going to go ahead and prepare the artwork so that way it can essentially make the file prepared in this specific system, so you can change the colors if need be or the amount of colors. Here we're going to go ahead and go in and just to get ready to digitize it, and with this function with auto digitize, it automatically does the digitizing for you. So now all we have to focus on is seeing how we would like the stitch out to look, what stitches we'd like to change it to. So changing it to Tommy stitch to satin, changing the size, and as you can see here, you can go in and reshape objects to change the flow and the direction that the stitches are going into. You can also go in and change the color. As you can see here, I changed it to the color that I needed for my project. And then at the end, you can export your design to save it into the correct file for your machine type. And as you can see, there's a whole drop-down menu for your machine. Now we'll be moving on to hooping your fabric. So we're going to start by prepping our material by marking our center points. This is super important. We essentially want to mark a X or cross in the middle of our fabric where the center will match up to the centers of the hoop. This will help make it easy when we take it to our machine, so that way it lines up exactly where we need to, and you can use a ruler, chalk, or whatever helps you create a straight line. For this project, we'll be using tearaway stabilizers. So we'll go ahead and bring our hoop here to get started with hooping our fabric. I'm going to go ahead and cut my stabilizer to size. I just roll it out past my hoop. You may have a more specific way of doing it, but for this, it gets the job done. We'll go ahead and take the inner hoop out, which is very important. Lay our stabilizer down, and then we're going to go ahead and place our fabric on top before putting that inner hoop back in and pushing it into place so that way it holds our fabric down while the machine is embroidering. This is a good point now to tighten your screw, make sure everything's flat, and pull your fabric taut so that way it's out of the way and not going to leave any ripples when stitching. Here I'm going to use clips to keep my additional fabric out of the way because we absolutely do not want our fabric to get caught underneath while it's stitching. Now let's move on to machine prep. We need to make sure we put our bobbin and thread of choice in. Make sure that depending on what machine brand and type you have, that you do put your bobbin in the way that it is designated in the manual. And we can move on to the top. For this one, I will be showing you a thread demo on my Janome 500E, but again, make sure you are following your specific machine's way of threading, so that way you get the best stitch out as well as no complications when stitching. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on. You may get some menu pop-up options that you can go through, allow the carriage of the machine to reset back to 0. Don't forget to plug in your USB device at this time or before this. And now we're going to go ahead and find the USB device on our menu and find the design that we would like to stitch out. The carriage will now set to where the start point will be for this project. We can go ahead and press OK, and now is the time that we can stick our hoop onto the machine. Again, follow your machine's manual on how to stick your hoop onto the carriage. Everyone's just a little bit different. And on my machine, I'm allowed to go in here and adjust so that way I can find where my middle point is, so I have a good starting point. And once I'm all good, I can hit that start button and allow the machine to run like normal. It's super important that while your machine is stitching out your design, you don't fully walk away. I know it's easy to allow yourself a moment to leave the room because it's automatic, but anything can happen from needle breaks to thread jamming, and it's important to just wait and watch your design as much as you can to make sure everything turns out fine. Once you're done, you can go ahead, take it off, and unhoop your project. And ta-da! You're all done. Hope you enjoyed this demo and happy sewing!